As I said, I'm Kathy. I'm with the Urban League of Rochester Economic Development Corporation. And the Urban League of Rochester Economic Development Corporation is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Urban League, which is a national organization and a social service organization. We were formed in 1986 to help, well, one of the main goals is to create housing. Since 1986, we've developed about 350 houses for purchase, and with money from the state of New York and through Home Rochester programs. We've done rehab and new construction. We've also built 14 apartment buildings, of which 4 of them are your neighbors in the 19th Ward and here. We have the Cornhill Apartments over off of Clarissa, Brooks Landing Apartments on Genesee at 750 Genesee Street. And then we have an apartment, a 6-unit on Thurston and a 6-unit on Kenwood. And those are special need housing for people with developmental disabilities. Well, our next venture is pretty exciting. We're going to be partnering with CHN Housing Network, which have developed over 1,200 lease to purchase housing. And the way this works is with low-income housing tax credits from the state of New York. We would develop, we're aiming at like 45 sites in the Plex and Mayor Heights and 19th Ward area. And it's been very successful in Cleveland. They're in the national model. I'll send some things around for you again. And it's successful because there is an equivalency. If a person has rented the house for 15 years, they should be able to afford the mortgage. So, and the reason it works very well is the Urban League of Rochester will give up all its equity in the house at the end of the 15-year compliance period. And the Urban League strongly believes that the greatest source of wealth is home ownership. And the prospective buyers for these houses, first they're tenants, then they're buyers, are at 60% AMI or below for a family of 4. In today's dollars, that's $44,000 at 60% AMI. Then they rent the houses, and they have a very low turnover rate, an average of 8 years of occupancy. And so maybe the first people that rent the house won't be the ones that buy it, but they'll be maybe the second ones will. The houses are capitalized up front, and it's a collaborative effort with the tenants, where they do some of the soft maintenance. We do the major mechanical maintenance, the HVAC units, where they would have to take care of their lawn mowing, their touch-up painting, if they have a leaky faucet. We're going to be teaching people how to take care of a house, how to do this basic maintenance, and get them really prepared to buy a house. And then in like 5 years before the low-income housing tax credit ends, we start doing some really deep financial planning with them. We start meeting with the tenants every 6 months, make sure they're on track with budgeting, make sure they're on track with payments, so that they have no surprises and they're prepared to become homeowners.
5 years after they've been living in
5 years, low-income housing tax credits work that with a partner, they get the equity for earn it in 11 years. It has to be in compliance for 15 years. So that's how long we will be partners with them and the managers of the project. Then in the last 5 years of the tenant's occupancy, they start doing this training and how to become homeowners and make sure their finances are in order. The best thing about this is at the end, because the Urban League is giving up its equity, the people will be able to buy these houses for about $20,000. During the rental period, it's very good for stabilizing the neighborhoods because I say the average tenant is in there for 8 years. So very low turnover rate.
So this program is this a new program for you guys, or is this program taking place on the Northeast?
Taking place on the Northeast. And this is new to Rochester. There is, the Josiana neighborhood. Those were
Northwest. This will be Northeast, and I think it's called some other. It has a name to it, and this same type of program was introduced over there, where people could buy the homes after 15 years or so, and then they found problems that the people weren't ready to purchase them at the end of the 15 years because the training program that you speak of in the last 5 years wasn't being done properly.
I don't think anybody has done this program yet.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking with some people. Ibero did low income housing tax credits, but it wasn't a purchase at the end because there's so much debt at the end.
I can't think of the Solomon. I can't think of the project. It's just in the Northeast. It's not our barrel.
Northeast or northwest?
Northeast. I'll come to it.
Okay, I'm not familiar with one of these lease to purchase programs. There are single family houses done under the low income housing tax credit, but they're structured to stay as rentals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're just starting this in the Southwest this year, right?
Yes. We've
So you've gotten approved to do these already? I mean,
no, we're putting the application in.
Right, because some communities don't want any more low income housing. They're having a problem with a saturation of low income housing because the community don't have a lot of home ownership, and they can't. A lot of people are transient. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The reason this works is you have to be at 60% AMI at the initial time of occupancy.
AMI is
Area median income. So for a family of 4, it's like 44,000 tops. But then you could become CEO of Kodak then and still be in this program. Or win the lottery.
So you had to make at least 44, or will be below 44?
Below 44,000.
Right. So that's low income. Right. So they can make 18,000 and get into the program.
Yes.
okay. So at the end of this period, the average sale price is
About $20,000.
About $20,000.
About 20,000.
Are you entertaining anything other than standard sized homes? Are you thinking perhaps like tiny homes?
We are, here, last out are 3 housing types. Some of the lots are like only 33 feet across.
Oh,
So we have to take-
you've identified? Oh, no, this is what you're talking about for your stuff. You haven't identified any lots in the
The
community.
city gave us a list of lots, and then they have to review it, and some of them have environmental, some of them already had mosquitoes. Some of them already have options on them. One of the houses on there is a 2-bedroom, fully accessible, fully visitable, in the bungalow style. And then we have the 2 stories are 3-bedroom houses.
How about persons that are about the 30% AMI level? This really does not address them.
At the 30% AMI, we haven't put the application in, so I don't know what the affordability ratio is. Right now, all low-income housing tax credits are aimed at people at 60% AMI or below. So the 44,000 would be the tops to take occupancy for a family of 4.
This had started in Cleveland.
Starting in Cleveland, they've done over 1,200. They've sold like 1,200 houses in Cleveland. It's very successful. It's the national model.
And what's been the
1,200 or 12,000 houses?
The properties they've developed are over 2,189, and when this was printed, they had already sold 1,135.
So are you thinking about putting this in the Northeast as well?
We haven't approached them.
No.
We would love to talk to someone in the Northeast, wherever somebody wants us. We are already in the Southwest, in this area, so that with 4 apartment buildings already, since we are going to be managing it, it's the critical mass in an area. We already have the maintenance men and the resources in this area, so we have to also think of windshield time to make things affordable. Can't have one building over in the Northeast and.
Well, no, I
over
understand. I know what you call Mayor Heights is really called changing the Scenes Neighborhood Association, and I know for years our discussion was we didn't want any more low-income housing. Now that may have changed, but like I say again, it's saturated, and I really don't know what Plex is thinking about doing as well. New housing as well. I think it's working well over there for them. But it's been challenging for us because there's not enough resources for them in the community, and we can't deliver them. So
resources like jobs or
all of them, services, jobs. There's a big immigration population over there. They're looking. So housing opportunities, or someone else has already came in and done some low income, and some of the stuff has just been on hold. There's a lot right here behind the library has been on hold. No one's been there for 15 years. Because we know that the mix may not necessarily all be right, and some of the challenges also come along that I've been hearing is that landlord owners of these older homes are can't compete as well because of the new housing stock that's going in. It's so affordable that people are moving into them as well. So, but that's another issue. But you did mention 19th Ward as well. So I don't know how 19th Ward is feeling about some new housing stock over there.
Well, other than I heard from John DeMott, who has been talking with you, so he was kind of upbeat about this and thought that this sounded like a good presentation. That would be something for you to
we're going to go around to all the different
come around, because come September they're going to start their monthly Delegates Council meetings, and that would be a good opportunity to make a presentation there. And
John said everybody was on vacation now for this.
yeah, they take the summer off. So.
Except you hardworking.
That's right. We may have small numbers at times, but
It only took about 1 month.
yeah, 1 month. Yeah. What are the statistics as far as what does it cost the person to go through this and become a homeowner versus if they just continue renting?
Well, it cost about $190,000 to build these houses.
Mm-hmm.
So someone on a restricted income probably would not be able to build and buy these houses without the tax credits on top. And the cost of the program, as I say, it's capitalized up front, lots of reserve accounts. The Urban League of Rochester used to run the home store for the city of Rochester, and we still run it, so we have credit counseling already, we have home ownership already, counseling. The component we want to add is how to take care of a house, which is something that a lot of people who go through those programs don't get. And if they're habitual renters, they never have to learn. So we start off right away teaching them how to take care of the property.
The people who move into these houses, like in Cleveland, how many stayed the full 15 years?
They had a very, I think that's in this brochure. I don't remember the exact amount. That I'll have to get to you.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's a pretty high number that stayed through the, maybe not the first tenants may not be the buyers, but the second tenants probably are. They have a very low vacancy rate. They're running about 93 to 97% occupancy on these houses.
Now, over the course of the 15 years, the rent that they pay plus the $20,000 when they purchase it, does that come out paying off the cost of building the house, or is that?
The 15 years,
Yeah.
we should, we give up any equity, so the 15 years, the houses will be somewhat cleared except for that like 20,000.
Okay.
So they're not going to have any other hidden cost, any extra liens or anything when they are ready to purchase.
Who's actually building?
Atlas Builders is who we're partnering with. We're partnering with DGA, Dane Glasso as the architect. Dane Glasso is the architect, and Atlas Builders, Mike Spahn.
Now, you talk about low-income housing in the 19th Ward. What
well-
what areas are you looking at?
There's, the city owns a lot of lots
Okay.
throughout the 19th Ward
And
and,
the South.
and the
It's got to
Southwest.
be the Southwest.
Yeah.
Mainly because that's where the majority of the lots are. I was just thinking about 19th Ward, and when I think about 19th Ward, I think about Genesee Park Boulevard over in that area.
Well, there's a couple lots in Kenwood, Aberdeen,
Yeah.
Woodbine. They're interspersed. It'd be nice to make a big impact and do something like on Superior where they have both sides of the street, but the fire department needs a turnaround and we can't afford that. There's quite a few on Frost and
Right. Yeah. I'm just picturing the different lots of. Yeah. There are a lot of lots along Frost. Are you guys looking at Jefferson?
yes, there's a few on Jefferson,
There's a
but
lot on
that's,
Jefferson.
mhm.
Yeah.
I think there was one on Troop.
Troop Street? Yes, there's like 3 on Troop Street. So yeah,
And
that's,
some of them have holds on them.
yeah, that's right. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So this is your first presentation.
Our first presentation.
Our first presentation. Well, it sounds interesting. We just need to make
This
sure.
one. That's just the houses. This is the one my notes were on.
Oh,
They're probably stopped someplace. There's a whole pile over there.
perfect. Thank you.
That you can,
We'll wait for the other people to come in.
Yeah, the thing that we're going to have a few people who are doing gardens in some of those empty lots who won't be too happy with
I
this.
took a picture of the most charming woman. I can't remember what street it was on, but I'm taking pictures of the lots, just giving an idea of what, you have to fit the house, make sure it looks good next to the houses that are on the other side. And I have a picture of her holding up the address of the lot, going like that. So we skipped that one.
Yeah, because I know we've got one on Kenwood and right across, kitty corner across from the School 29 there, that we put in a garden to beautify the place.
Yeah.
Hold off on that one.
So there's some that have 2 lots, right? And because I know urban agriculture wise, they're also looking for a home with a lot that has a lot next to it, so that they can kind of make it an urban agriculture location. So like an educational, like a home where people would live in it and also operate this teaching facility. But then they'd have one of the lots would be connected to it, and they'd be able to, God, that is usually not a problem with me.
Is that like what the Greentopia did in the Josana neighborhood?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking of, there's
Then
an
they were selling-
urban agriculture
Then they were
work
selling
group.
flowers at the public market.
Yeah.
Maybe the same.
Actually, I'll write down the address of the urban agriculture work group, and you can present to them.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm pretty excited about this. I think it'll be fun.
I think it would be very interesting.
They give a lot of people an opportunity to buy a home.
Now, one of the problems that we face in Rochester is a lot of single-family homes being converted to apartments for students and whatnot. How do we try to
That's
prevent that?
That's already built in to the low-income housing tax credit program, that it cannot be a student household.
Nice.
The low-income housing tax credit, that's even for the Mills at High Falls, our main apartment building down on State Street, corner of State and Platte. Low-income housing tax credits want to establish residency. They don't want the transient nature of a student household. So you cannot move in and be a full-time
So
student.
that's what it was called, the Mildred Johnson Estates. Mildred Johnson Estates. It's not on here. She brought up the word. So Mildred Johnson Estates is the same type of program that you're talking about, similar to it.
And that's over in the Northeast?
Mhm.
I'll look it up. Do you know when that was built or established?
Oh, I would say somewhere around 2006, 8. 10 years ago. Yeah.
So it was not the tax credits. They still have 5 years of compliance on it.
I don't know. It came through council, and we did it. Estates. I think it's still estates. There's another S in there.
ESTA. Yes. Was it done by a bureau?
Housing partnership.
Pop.
Yep. Yep. So, I'm just saying the program sounded familiar. And sometimes we can look at the success
Right.
or the downfalls of a program that is similar to that we be successful.
And make sure we avoid some of the pitfalls that they have.
We call it the Greater Rochester Housing Partnership. Yep.
Okay, what other forums would be good, James, for the, you got the 19th Ward Community Association. I'm not sure what Flex has got going these days. Do you have some meeting at COTS that would be good for this, John?
What was the new name for the Mayor's High?
It's called Changing of the Scenes Neighborhood Association.
Do you have regular?
Yeah, we'll be
Large
having a
meeting?
Yeah, we have a meeting Tuesday. It's not a large meeting. It's just the our board members. 6 or 7 or 8 of us that show up monthly to discuss some things. I don't necessarily know what's on the agenda. I mean, if you're making a round robin out to your neighborhood groups, you're welcome to come Tuesday at 6 p.m. Tuesday at 6 p.m. at 70 Cunningham Street. It's right over at where there's some other low-income subsidized housing at Anthony Square. So you come on over there. There's a little community room, small parking
I
lot.
don't know if we'll make it this Tuesday.
We'll be there from 6 to
We
7.
need to get a better presentation
Yeah.
together.
All right.
Oh, you will.
Okay.
But I'll let Karen, it's Tuesday, the third
Every
Tuesday?
third Tuesday of the
Third
month.
Tuesday.
And if you contact Eleanor, or I'm sure she'll send you out.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add you to our email distribution list so you know what's going on
Okay, that'd be
around
great.
here, because about twice a week I send out information about activities in supplements.
Yeah, the other thing that would be good to do is with the libraries, Lori, I know that at the Arnett Library, you know, sometimes for things like this, you put up flyers and you could have a meeting here that might have 3 or 4 times as many people if they know about it, because we really didn't have a chance to publicize this for today. We just got it set up yesterday.
Yeah, we have a lot of communities.
At the Arnett Library. I use the Arnett community room a lot for my tenants across the street, because we don't have a common area there to meet with them.
Yeah, and let's see what other groups.
Well, nobody's missing with Plex and Cornhill. I don't think Cornhill really has too much of a comment on it. So, you know, once you get the information from Eleanor, you'll know the neighborhood groups, and then you can come. And, you know, you can reach out to them, whatever the case may be. You'll work it out. I mean, it's nothing new to us. We've been here before.
We want to be good neighbors because I'm going to be my own neighbor with
Right.
the apartment buildings we have.
Yeah,
So, if you don't have anything, thank you.
Thank you.
great. All that, you know, I'll pull together what you had here, and we'll post a link to a video of what you
Do you need more
presented.
of a handout and things?
I've got a couple here,
Okay.
so we'll work with that, and you're certainly welcome to stick around and participate in the rest of the meeting.
Thank you. Go home and feed my husband.
Oh, well, that's important too.
For all
you know.
of us.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.